Welcome to Políglota Studio, your destination for learning languages in an exciting and entertaining way. In today's video, you'll be able to improve your listening and speaking skills. A Dream in Two Cities, Laura's Adventure.
Chapter 1. The Beginning in the City. My name is Laura, and I've always lived in a small town. But today, everything changed. Packing my dreams and savings into a suitcase, I moved to the big city in search of new opportunities. When I arrived, the towering skyscrapers overwhelmed me. While I felt excited, I also felt a sense of vertigo in the face of the unknown. My small suitcase, filled with memories and ambitions, was my only companion on this journey into the unknown. Chapter 2. The Taxi Ride. I took a taxi to my new home. As I looked out the window, my heart raced with excitement and anxiety. Arriving at my new home was a significant step, a dream I had been pursuing for years. The taxi driver welcomed me to the city and shared stories about his experiences. His warmth made me feel a little more at home in this unfamiliar metropolis. Chapter 3. The Small Cozy House. My new home was a little gem in the middle of the city. With my savings, I rented it and soon began to give it my personal touch. I painted the walls with warm colors and decorated with furniture I found in thrift stores. Every object had its own story, and that house became a refuge filled with nostalgia and hope. Chapter 4. Adapting to the City. Adapting to urban life was not easy. The constant noise and fast pace were a challenge, but slowly I got used to it. I met friendly neighbors and explored the parks and attractions of the city. Although I missed the tranquility of my hometown, the city offered a unique energy and a sense of endless possibilities. Chapter 5. The Beginning of a Dream. One day, while walking through the neighborhood, I had an idea. I loved baking cookies and decided to turn my passion into a business. I started experimenting in my kitchen and soon developed unique recipes that won over the palates of those who tried them. Baking cookies became my way to connect with my past and build a future in this city. Chapter 6. Opening the Cookie Shop. After much effort and dedication, I opened my own cookie shop. The smell of freshly baked cookies filled the place and attracted passers-by. The shop became a cozy place where people came to enjoy a sweet treat and a cup of coffee. Each cookie I sold was a piece of my story, and seeing people smile as they tried them was my greatest reward. Chapter 7. The Unexpected Encounter. One day, while running the shop, a charming man entered. His name was Carlos, and he shared my love for cookies. We spent hours talking, and soon realized we had a lot in common. Carlos became a frequent customer, and our conversations became a special reason to look forward to each day in the shop. Chapter 8. Love Blossoms. Carlos and I started dating, and our relationship grew. Together, we shared laughter, dreams, and, of course, many cookies. Over time, our love blossomed, and the city that initially scared me became the backdrop of our love story. Every corner of the city held a special memory for us, and cookies became the sweet bond that connected our hearts. Life in the city transformed into a vibrant shared journey, full of love and delicious surprises. Chapter 9. The Trip to the Grandparents' Village. One sunny weekend, Carlos and I decided to take a special getaway. I had shared stories about my small hometown with him, and I was eager to take him to see it. We got into my old car and embarked on a journey back to my roots. The road wound through familiar landscapes, with green fields and picturesque farms. Carlos watched in amazement as I recounted childhood anecdotes. After a few hours of driving, we arrived at my grandparents' village. Chapter 10. Reunion with Childhood. My heart filled with nostalgia and joy as I saw my grandparents' house, the same one I had visited so many times as a child. Their warm hugs and loving smiles made me feel as if time had stood still. The house smelled of homemade food I loved and had missed in the city. Carlos and I shared stories about our lives in the city as my grandparents listened with interest. The simplicity and tranquility of the village seemed to provide a much-needed respite in the midst of our busy lives. Chapter 11: A Stroll in Nature. The next day, Carlos and I decided to explore the surroundings of the village. We walked along the trails I used to wander with childhood friends. The fresh air and the singing of birds reminded us of the beauty of nature and the serenity we often forgot in the city. In a special corner of the woods, we found a crystal-clear stream. We sat by it and shared stories about our dreams and goals. It was a magical moment, surrounded by nature and the love that blossomed between us every day. Chapter 12: Farewell and Return to the City. The weekend in my grandparents' village flew by. The time had come to say goodbye, but this time, we did it not with sadness, but with gratitude for the memories we had created together. We bid farewell to my grandparents with hugs and promises to return soon. As we drove back to the city, Carlos and I shared the sense of renewal the trip had left us with. The contrast between the city and my grandparents' village reminded us of the importance of maintaining balance in our lives and valuing the roots that had given us strength to grow in the city. The trip to my grandparents' village strengthened our relationship and made us appreciate even more the love and connection we shared. Every trip, whether to the city or the village, reminded us that life was a beautiful adventure to explore together. Chapter 13: The Wedding Day. After several years of sharing our lives in the city and visiting my grandparents' village, Carlos and I decided to take the next step in our relationship, getting married. The idea of celebrating our love and commitment in a special ceremony filled us with excitement and joy. Chapter 14: Welcome to the Family. After a few years of marriage, Carlos and I decided to take the next step in our life together, becoming parents. The idea of having children filled our hearts with joy and excitement. After all, we had already built a life together in the city and in my grandparents' village, and now it was time to expand our family. The excitement of pregnancy. The day we found out we were expecting our first child was one of the most exciting moments of our lives. Each doctor's visit for ultrasounds brought us closer to meeting our little miracle. My cookie shop became the place where we shared our expectations and dreams for the future. The arrival of our baby. The day finally came when we met our baby. With tears of joy in our eyes, we held our child in our arms for the first time. It was a magical moment that would change our lives forever. We decided to name him Mateo, a name that connected our family roots. Learning together. The first months with Mateo were a challenge and a blessing. We learned to care for, comfort, and love our little one. The city and my grandparents' village took on new meanings as we explored familiar parks and places with our child in our arms. Growing as a family. With time, our family grew. We had a daughter, Isabella, who filled our lives with laughter and play. Every day was an adventure, and our experiences as parents strengthened our bond as a couple. The future together. The city, the cookie shop, and my grandparents' village became the backdrop where our family grew and flourished. Every corner was filled with love and shared memories. As our children grew, so did our love and commitment to each other. Our family was the result of the story we had built together, and we were excited for everything the future had in store for us.
Thank you for joining us in this story and for learning Spanish with us. We invite you to subscribe, like, and leave a comment to continue enjoying our content. Your support is essential to our growth. Until the next adventure at Políglota Studio.